Hi everyone, today I'm going to be playing Subdivision, where we are developers who have been given an area of land to make the perfect community. And we are going to do this by placing tiles on it, of course. So, in the solo game, you set up as if it was a 3-player game, so you remove 4 zones of each type from the stacks, and then you shuffle them all up and make 4 equal stacks of 15, and then you get a round bonus for round 2, 3 and 4 and place it face up on top, and you're good to go. So how do we play Subdivision? Well, in the solo game, you're going to draw 5 tiles from the top of the first stack, and this is your choice of what you can build in your first turn, and you will discard the rest. So the first thing that happens is we take the zoning die and roll it, and it's the yellow star, which means that we can build on any of the yellow stars in our zone. And I can pick between any of these things. If I really want to, I can spend 2 money, which is all I start with, and I can ignore that dice, but I probably want to pay attention to it as long as I can. So I can pick any tile from my hand, place it down, and then discard the rest. And then in my next turn, I would roll again, and see, diamond. So I could place a tile on a diamond. I would have a different hand of tiles, of course. But then in my second turn, I place a tile down. And if you place a zone next to another zone, then the zone activates. And these are the zones. And when the zones activate, they do a specific thing. So the residential tiles will create a school adjacent to them, your choice of place. And the more times they're activated, you can either build more schools or you can build on top of existing schools as long as it's adjacent to the school you're activating. And a 1-floor school is worth nothing. A better school is still worth nothing, but a 3-story school is 8 points. When you activate these luxury zones, they will make lakes that you can place. You have to put the tiles up with the symbol on the left hand side here, because certain tiles like these need you to place things along certain positions. So you could put a lake anywhere above this tile that's free, anywhere diagonally down here or down here. And what a lake does is when you place it down, like say I placed it there, I would immediately get a money, because you get a money for every tile that's touching it, apart from other lakes. And when you place tiles around it in future, you keep getting that money. And you need money if you want to ignore the die, and money is worth points at the end. Other tiles are if you wanted to activate, there we go, a government building, you would get a park. So that's the same thing, but they are different positions that you can place them. So you can place the park anywhere underneath here or along these 2 diagonals. And the parks are used for endgame scoring. At the end of the game, you're going to get a point for every tile that is touching this, apart from other parks. So that can be quite big. Other tiles, you can have industrial. And when you activate an industrial zone, you can grab 2 roads, which are just the other side of any of the improvement tiles, and you can place them anywhere within 2 tiles of the industrial zone that's being activated. And the reason for this is you want to be able to give access to the road to all of your zones, but you don't want to leave these negative points showing at the end of the game, because they're going to count against you. And so you can start building roads like that. And there are also commercial zones, which are blue. And when you activate these, you get to put 3 sidewalks down. And the point of sidewalks is you want them to connect to as many different types of zone as possible. So you would want to try and get it in here probably, where all these different types are. You also have a +2 area here that you can always place a tile on, but you're going to lose 2 points effectively for placing something on there. But if you get really stuck, that can be what you really need to do. At the end of the game, this little sheet shows us what the scoring is. So you're going to get a point for each parcel adjacent to a park that contains a zone tile, lake tile, road tile, or school tile, regardless of the number of school tiles in a stack. So just not other parks. You get points for sidewalks equal to the number of unique zone types, and zone types are the tiles that you put down in a round, multiplied by the number of unique improvement tiles adjacent to a single sidewalk segment. And then you get points for schools, so you only get points once they're 3 high. You get a point for every 2 money rounded down. Then, this is the big points, you get 5 points for every zone tile that has access to the highway. And you have access to the highway if roads connect them, or you can trace a line through empty parcels to the tile that you want to connect to the road. So at the moment, every zone tile I've got is connected to the road, because you can trace a line to all of them at the moment. But as the game goes on and I put more tiles down, I might block myself off. And that's, every time you do that, you're losing 5 points. You don't need the improvement tiles to be connected to the road. And then you score or lose points for all of the numbers showing on your board at the end of the game. And that is it. After we have had 4 turns in round 1 and all these tiles have gone, before we move on to round 2, we evaluate the bonus tile. So if I have managed to put 2 parks down in round 1, I score 2 money. At the end of round 2, just before we start round 3, if I have placed 9 sidewalk segments down, I can activate a luxury zone or a commercial zone in my area. And for the last round, if I have covered up my -1s, then I get to activate an industrial, a government, or a residential zone. And that is the game. So I will see you back here for the actual gameplay once I've tidied this back up.